Despite incoming fire and unforgiving conditions, our troops brought every American home. No American lives were lost. We leave no man behind, and that is not luck.
When Iranian leaders proudly showcased their newly stocked underground weapons depot near the Strait of Hormuz, filled with advanced Chinese-supplied anti-ship missiles, drones, and heavy rockets, they believed it was safely hidden and untouchable. The facility was meant to serve as a major resupply hub to threaten international shipping and U.S. naval forces. But that sense of security was brutally shattered in a single night. U.S. Marine reconnaissance teams and Delta Force operators launched a daring joint raid that destroyed the Chinese-supplied weapons depot, dealt a massive blow to Iran's military capabilities in the region, and left Tehran in complete shock. The mission started with weeks of meticulous preparation at forward operating bases along the Gulf. Marine Recon Marines from the 31st Meuse Reconnaissance Battalion studied every detail of the underground depot using drone surveillance, satellite imagery, and human intelligence. They rehearsed stealth infiltration, close-quarters battle in confined underground spaces, and demolition procedures on full-scale mock-ups. Delta Force operators from 1st VAD focused on high-value target handling and rapid destruction tactics. Both units packed suppressed weapons, panoramic night vision goggles, breaching charges, thermite grenades, and encrypted communication systems. They practiced multiple exfiltration scenarios, including helicopter pickup and maritime backup. In the hangars, MH-60 Blackhawks and MV-22 Ospreys from the 160th SOAR and Marine squadrons underwent final quiet mode inspections. Crews loaded fast rope systems, suppressed weapon pods, medical kits, and extra ammunition. Loadmasters secured pallets of breaching explosives and thermite devices. Weapons teams worked with precision, cleaning rifles against sand and salt, testing night vision equipment, and packing lightweight assault rucks with extra magazines, tourniquets, and medical supplies. Red safety pins remained inserted in all charges until the final arming phase. Every operator moved with quiet, lethal focus, gear strapped down tightly to eliminate noise, faces painted in dark camouflage patterns suited for the rocky coastal hills. A small SEAL boat team stood ready offshore with rigid inflatable boats for possible backup extraction. The entire joint force operated under strict emissions control. The mission clock ticked down. Helicopter engines spooled into the humid Gulf night. One by one, the aircraft lifted off and disappeared into the darkness, flying nap of the earth to remain invisible to Iranian radar. The raid struck with overwhelming speed and precision. Blackhawks and Ospreys approached the mountainous coastal area at extremely low altitude, rotors whispering through the warm air as they skimmed just above the jagged ridges. Marine recon teams fast roped down first onto high ground overlooking the depot's main entrances. They hit the terrain silently and immediately established blocking positions and sniper overwatch, blending into the rocks with ghillie suits. Delta Force operators fast roped seconds later, splitting into multiple assault teams that moved like shadows toward the primary access points and ventilation shafts. The joint force hit the facility from multiple directions at once. Marine Recon Marines breached the outer perimeter using shaped charges, the muffled explosions opening paths into the underground complex. Delta operators poured inside first, clearing corridors and guard rooms with suppressed weapons and flashbang grenades. Iranian security personnel who resisted were neutralized in seconds. The fighting was sharp, but one-sided. While Delta teams pushed deeper into the storage halls, Marine Recon snipers on the surface engaged an Iranian quick reaction force attempting to reach the site, stopping them cold with precise long-range fire. Deep inside the vast underground chambers, the operators discovered exactly what intelligence had predicted: rows upon rows of Chinese-supplied weapons. Crates of C-802 and C-701 anti-ship missiles, wing-loom drones, rocket launchers, and advanced guidance systems filled the halls. Delta demolition teams moved quickly, placing thermite charges on the missile crates and guidance systems. They wired the devices with care, double-checking every connection before pulling back. Marine recon teams swept the command and control rooms, seizing laptops, encrypted drives, technical manuals, and communication equipment. The joint force worked with calm efficiency under red light and night vision, every movement practiced and purposeful. Within 14 minutes of the first rope down, the destruction phase began. Controlled detonations ripped through the underground halls. Thermite charges burned through missile fuselages and sensitive electronics at thousands of degrees. Secondary explosions from the Chinese missiles created massive fireballs that shook the entire facility. Thick black smoke poured from ventilation shafts as the heart of the depot was systematically destroyed. The blasts echoed across the hills and could be felt for miles around the strait. What Iran had called one of its most secure resupply bases was reduced to a burning ruin filled with twisted metal and molten wreckage. While demolition teams completed their sweeps, the assault force prepared for clean exfiltration. Delta operators and Marine Recon Marines collected critical intelligence materials and several high-value IRG officers who had been overseeing the depot. Blackhawks and Ospreys returned low and fast, hovering briefly as operators fast roped up with their prisoners and captured equipment. The last teams to leave triggered final delay charges that collapsed remaining tunnels and entrances. The aircraft banked hard and disappeared into the night, heading toward secure locations outside Iranian territory. A standby Marine boat team offshore was not needed. The entire operation, from first contact to complete withdrawal, took less than 29 minutes. In the hours and days that followed, the scale of the victory became devastatingly clear. The Chinese-supplied weapons depot, one of Iran's most important logistical hubs near the Strait of Hormuz, had been effectively wiped out. Dozens of advanced anti-ship missiles, attack drones, and rocket systems were destroyed before they could reach Iranian forces. The intelligence seized during the raid provided new insights into China-Iran military cooperation and supply networks. Iranian state media erupted in fury, calling the raid an act of aggression, but satellite imagery showed the undeniable truth: the depot was now a smoking crater. Tehran was visibly shocked. The loss of such a large stockpile of modern Chinese weapons and the exposure of their supply chain left Iranian military planners scrambling. The raid significantly weakened Iran's ability to threaten shipping lanes in the immediate future. U.S. and allied naval forces gained greater freedom of movement in the strait, and commercial tankers began sailing with increased confidence. Yet the success did not bring total calm. Iranian forces launched aggressive search operations and began reinforcing other depots. Joint U.S. Special Forces stayed on high alert, ready for potential reprisal actions. The captured IRGC officers and seized intelligence continued to yield valuable information that would shape future operations across the region. This joint Marine Recon and Delta Force raid once again demonstrated the unmatched reach and precision of America's Special Operations Forces. They had struck deep inside hostile territory, destroyed a major Chinese-supplied weapons depot, and delivered a decisive strategic blow, all with minimal collateral damage and 0 American casualties. The Strait of Hormuz grew noticeably safer that night, but the shadow war continued under the Gulf sky. The operation sent a powerful message to both Iran and its suppliers: no weapons depot near the strait was truly safe. Tehran's carefully built logistics network had been pierced, and the consequences would be felt for months. If you want to stay ahead of these high-stakes Special Forces missions and understand how they continue to reshape the crisis in the Strait of Hormuz, hit subscribe right now, turn on notifications, and drop a comment below. Do you think this raid will deter Iran from receiving more Chinese weapons, or will it push them toward even riskier moves? The story is still developing fast, and the next major development could arrive at any moment.